Tonight's homework was to finish page 3 of the tiered treasure hunt. And by now you've already completed 2 sheets and had an opportunity in class today to check your answers so that you knew that you could be successful on the 3rd sheet, which took the application one step further. So, our question here asks for what is the measure of GLO? And we see that GLO is this angle here that I'm going to go ahead and shade in blue so that you can clearly tell which angle we're talking about. And then I have OLD that I'm going to shade in green over here. And they share this straight line that goes from G through point L to D. And since they share a straight line, I know that these 2 angles are going to add up to 180 degrees. We have a supplemental relationship between the 2 angles. So as soon as I realize that there's a supplemental relationship between the 2 angles, I should be thinking that I need to set something equal to 180. In this case, the something is the measure of one angle, which is negative x plus 80, needs to be added to the measure of the second angle, 7x plus 28. And then all I need to do is combine my like terms and simplify. When I have combined my like terms and simplified, I'm going to end up with a x equals statement that will give me a value for x. X is not the value of either angle, but rather I can take that value, plug it back into one of my expressions, and solve to find the true value of one of these angles. Second problem. Angle GEM and angle MES both form this 90-degree angle. And so the first thing I should be thinking is that they share a complementary relationship. 2 angles whose sums add up to 90 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and say equals 90 because that's the first thing I paid attention to, was that there's 2 angles add up to 90 degrees. And then I need to define what was in the angle. Well, 10x, plus 106 is one expression. Added to that, the value of the second expression, 12x plus 50. And again, we'll combine like terms and simplify. This question's only asking for x, so as soon as I have simplified these expressions all the way down, I will end up with an x equals a certain value statement. Here we have 2x plus 20 and 6x. And I should see right away that I have 2 v's that meet in the middle here, which is a good indicator that since v stands for vertical angles, I have vertical angles. And we know that vertical angles are always congruent, which means that they are equal. In this case, I have 6x is equal to 2x plus 20. So I can solve for the value of x. As soon as I finish solving for the value of x, I take that value of x and plug it back into the expression. And since in this case I'm going to end up with 5 for my value of x, 5 times 2 is 10, plus 20 is 30. I will get this to be a 30-degree angle. 30 degrees is not an obtuse angle, but I know that it has a supplementary relationship with this obtuse angle. which means the two have to add up to 180. 180 minus 30 leaves me with 150 degrees. Next up, as you should have expected, we're going to increase in difficulty the closer we get to the treasure. So again, I have two angles that are opposite of each other. We have our V's here. So we should be thinking vertical angles are congruent. Since my vertical angles are congruent, I will know that 2x plus 120 is equal to 120. We can solve for the value of x. We're also told that WIN is 6y. So at the same time, I can say that 6y plus 120 is equal to 180 because these two are supplementary to each other. They form or share a straight line. Once I've set up the expression, you should be able to solve for the value of y. And our last problem. LTU is 4 times larger than ETU. I don't know the value of either, so I'm going to assume that one is x, unknown. And if LTU is 4 times x, that would be the same as saying 4x. My entire angle, LTE, it tells me is 70 degrees. So 70 is equal to the measure of this angle x plus 4x. Combine your like terms and solve for the value of x. After you've identified the value of x, we're looking for the measure of LTU. So I plug the value of x into the expression and multiply x times 4. You should have been able to use your previous two-tiered treasure hunts to model or set up these problems based on the way the previous problems were set up, and then solve for solutions. Have a good evening.